Well, good morning as we get ready to get started here this morning for our Solutions for Success Seminar Series. I am Mark McGill, the Director of Member Relations here at the Chamber. I just want to welcome everybody and thank you so much for being here today. Another great seminar series. We're going to learn today about LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram and how it can work best for your company. We cannot do the great programs that we provide here at the Chamber without just some incredible partners. And the folks from Sim Financial are they are real big believers in the Chamber, just great Chamber partners throughout the entire year. And they're the ones that are powering and bringing you the seminar series today. Without them, this is just not made possible. And Evan Stark is here from Sim Financial. I want to just introduce Evan to say good morning and give you a little bit on what Sim Financial can do for you and how maybe you too can have better hair like Evan. Good morning.
Good morning. We're going to keep the hair thing going. All right. Every time we schedule these, it's right after I've cut all my hair up. So I don't know what, I think there's some kind of conspiracy there, but thank you to the Chamber. You know, we love getting to partner with the Chamber, all of the learning and sharing that happens in the community because of what the Chamber does. We're very grateful. So we're happy to participate and to be able to learn alongside all of these other businesses that jump on these calls. So thank you to everybody who's on the call today. As far as who Sim Financial is, we're a 50-year-old independent financial planning and investment management firm. We have a unique approach. It emphasizes the alignment of interests between advisor and client. So truly independent and focused on compensation models that align our interests with those of our clients. We've been recognized in investment news as a best place to work as well as a best practice with an innovative continuity plan that keeps our leadership aligned with the interests of our clients. So if there's any kind of financial topic, we've got somebody with alphabet soup after their name that can provide some insight and best thinking around that. And so an incredible team of 70 plus professionals across 5 different offices and clients all over the world now. So if things like that come up, we're happy to be a resource for you and happy to be a part of this community. So we appreciate your time and hope that this series provides you with some insights that blesses you and your business. So that's all for me.
Good. Thanks, Evan. Just really good guys. So if you have any questions at all, Evan and Jonathan and the folks at the Sim Financial, really just good dudes. So we really appreciate you being such a big partner with the Chamber and a fan of the Chamber because we're all big fans of yours as well. Couple quick housekeeping notes and then we're going to get right to it. Our member briefing is on Tuesday. Our president and CEO, Jeff Ray, will host that 8 o'clock in the morning. It's virtual again. I really recommend and suggest you jump on. We'll hear from all of the departments here at the Chamber. Economic development, as you can imagine, a lot going on that side of things. The Visitors Bureau visits South of Mishawaka. They'll jump on and give you some updates there. We'll talk about some member things, some education workforce with Kate Lee. So that's going to be coming up on a Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock. And then we have a coffee and conversation on Wednesday morning at Cultivate Food Rescue, 8 to 9:30. It's just that, coffee and conversation, one of our networking events. Instead of doing a business after hours this month, we're going to do a coffee and conversation, realizing that sometimes the nighttime stuff is tough for people to get to. So we recommend you head to the website, sign up for both the member briefing and the coffee and conversation. Find out some of the great work that Cultivate is doing. Grab a donut, a Danish, maybe some coffee, and have a conversation. And finally, our next Solutions for Success seminar series is May 4th. We'll talk about small business IT essentials with Andrew Tyler from Tech Tyler. A lot of the small businesses don't have their own dedicated IT department, and that's a real big thing, especially with the scammers out there and all the malware and stuff. And so make sure you just kind of in the back of your mind put that down for May 4th. May the 4th be with you, as it were, for our next Solutions for Success seminar series. Any questions about membership, anything we can do for you, please let me know. And now from our own marketing and communications department, the real star of the show here at the Chamber, who will take us through the rest of the program, please welcome my friend Amanda Glasson. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Hello and welcome, everybody. I am Amanda Glasson. I am the graphic designer with the Chamber. And we are here today to talk all things LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So joining us is Jim Ragosta. He is the Director of Digital Strategy and Sales with Force 5. He's going to go over some information to tell you how you can help build a presence that engages your followers and brings in leads, and he's going to share some best practices. So anytime you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or in the Q&A. I will be monitoring that, and we will pop on a couple times throughout to answer those questions, but we'll be here and engaged, so anything you need, feel free to put it in the chat. But other than that, here is Jim. You can take it away.
All right, thanks, Amanda. So I'm going to share my screen here and kind of go right into this PowerPoint. All right, so thanks everyone for attending this webinar this morning. As you know, the main things that we're going to be focusing here today is going to be on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. A big thanks to South and Regional Chamber for reaching out to conduct this webinar, as well as SIM for sponsoring this. You know, just as much as Force 5 is a part of the chamber, our core is to try and make sure that we're serving our community the best that we can to provide the right services to not only our clients, but bring information like this to you to help your business grow. So kind of jumping right into here, we got a lot of information to cover in a small amount of time today. Force 5, we are a brand and development marketing communications firm here in South Bend. We've been around for 23 years now, serving our community, and some great major brands is presented here on the screen. We have no real indication on, like, we work with big clients, small clients. As I kind of stated already, we are very much community oriented and believe that each one of our businesses is an integral part to our community at large for each of us to succeed. My role, as Amanda kind of described, I'm the Director of Digital Strategy and Sales. So my job with our clients is to direct everybody in the right direction, existing clients and prospects, in terms of, you know, maybe you should be doing some Google advertising, or how can we grow you organically on social media, looking at your data on analytics, to see what's going on. Do we need to do some SEO work? So all these different touch points in the digital world now is really my responsibility for our clients and try to guide them in the right direction. So some key things that you're gonna come away with this webinar today is learning how to grow your network and your business on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has been growing tremendously over the past couple of years, ever since COVID. So it is something that's really taken off compared to years prior, where it was only kind of labeled as like a networking and job opportunity space. I'm going to walk through how we can put together what I think is the 3 E's of YouTube: educate, engage, and entertain, and kind of build content around those things for your business, and how to capitalize on Instagram. So one major question that usually comes about when talking with clients of ours is the question of, do you need to be on all social platforms? Well, I will tell you that no, you do not need to be on all social platforms. The main thing is to really understand, you know, where you want to go, what you want to do, who you want to go after. So with that being said, you know, you need to really ask yourself before going on any social platform, you know, why are you there? Who are you trying to target? And what you're looking to accomplish. So why you're there. So maybe you want to be there because you want to post things about what you're doing within the community, be engaged with some of your followers, who you're trying to target. Each platform is dedicated to a certain demographic of audience, right? So people who are going to be on TikTok skew younger, versus people who might be on Facebook might skew a little bit older. So you really need to discern how those platforms mesh with your business goals, which in a roundabout way comes back to what you're looking to accomplish. So do I want to grow leads by X% this year, or do I want to share, you know, all the different things that, you know, my company is doing? all these different things kind of come and formulate, because when you post something on social media, there's a reason behind why you are doing that. So once you understand why, who, and what, it'll help you develop and execute effective social strategies. So I hope that you may be able to get a better insight today on how LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram could potentially help you. Each of these may not be applicable for your business, but we'll kind of dive into that here. So LinkedIn's important. I believe that since it's grown so much as of recent years, that every business professional should be on LinkedIn in some sort of way. It's a great tool to, instead of whipping out an old address book or whatever you might have had way back when of contacts, now it's a instant source of keeping something online digitally and keeping a rapport with people. So it's become the 7th fast growing brand in the world, 22 behind Louis Vuitton. It's the best platform to be engaging with decision makers. So, you know, especially if you're in the B2B space here, you're going to be looking for those VPs, those directors, those people who make decisions within an organization, and they'll be on LinkedIn for you to network with. An interesting fact is that one of the largest age groups has turned out to be 25 to 35-year-olds, encompassing 60% of LinkedIn's audience. I also know that the United States dominates the presence on LinkedIn. However, the UK also has a big presence on LinkedIn as well. Only 55 people 55 and older, they say, account for 2.9% of its current audience. I don't know how that is possible, given that a lot of people that I know who are on LinkedIn. However, I do believe it means that people who are younger are going to continue to grow older, which means that those are just going to grow right into decision makers, or they're on the leading edge of being decision makers for organizations. So if you have younger people within your company, I would definitely encourage them to be on this platform. And then LinkedIn really is going beyond job hunting and listings. You want to share things that you're doing personally and grow your company presence on there. So the main thing with LinkedIn that's interesting is you have your business profiles and you have personal profiles. How you go about posting content and how you can have a growth strategy behind this is actually a little bit different than what you may think, which is what I'm going to kind of go into here. So when you're a business, you're going to be sharing content related to company culture, updates, advocacy, all those different things that you want to highlight about your business and flaunt, right? Maybe you want to recruit, you want to post a job, get good talent. You want to get leads, grow awareness of what you're doing. You want to get sales by the things you're posting on your profile and sharing. You want to be a thought leader. You want to engage with people. You can go as you're on the feed, you can actually be your profile and like posts or comment as an organization. So that way you're interacting with people as your organization, or comment on other organizations' posts. And then you have the personal side, right? So you actually have your profile. You can network. You can share updates, talk about things that you know, share how-tos, sales careers, advancement. There's different tutorials you can do on LinkedIn for certifications. It's basically your online resume, search for sales. But the most important thing here on the personal side that kind of helps what we're going to talk about here is being an advocate for your company, being a leader from your company, engaging with other people and representation of your company, okay? So in a roundabout way, how this all works is you first, of course, you have your profile, right? So I think the best recommendation I can give is make sure that you have your profile filled out completely, as it's important to highlight, who you are and what you do. And what, you can go in the about section and really highlight, what I am for, who I work for, all those different types of things. But this all kind of works together here in terms of growing you on the platform. And how you do so is you need to be informed. So you need to follow pages, you need to join groups, and you need to send connections. By following pages and participating in groups, you're starting to hone in on certain things that you're interested in, have conversations within groups with other people who are interested in maybe the same topic as you are. And then of course, sending connections to people who whether you meet at like one of those chamber networking events, or you're out and about, maybe it's a new prospect or someone that you interact with, send them a connection request. But how you're gonna grow is really a circular system here. So what we want to do is we want to create content that's compelling to stay in contact with your connections. But then you also want, after you create the content, you want to continue to engage, right? So we want to continue to connect, we want to continue to create content, and we want to continue to engage. So what this means in terms of developing a winning content structure to get engagement is you want to create attention-grabbing statements first on your posts. So what does this look like? So a good example of this is how this person starts with a statement. 12 years ago, we were 90K in debt, not counting our mortgage and on food stamps. Well, I want to know more about that. That sounds pretty compelling. What is that gonna, what's this guy gonna talk about? Next thing. When was the last time you upskilled yourself or your team? Honestly. So these are attention grabbers that are short and to the point. And what happens is when someone clicks the see more button, you start to engage with that post. And then it starts to become a flow of content that needs to appear as it goes. It's clear and concise. So the next part of creating the content structure here is going to be talking about this statement that's relating back to your opener. Okay, so you want to start to talk about the meat of the content. It's going to start to talk more about your opening statement. From there, you're going to start to talk about some of like how-tos or highlights or share tips, whatever it might be, in an easy, consumable way. That way, people are starting to understand what you're getting at whole and what they can take away from it. And the fourth part of this, you want to reiterate the main goal of the post at large, and at the end with a call to action if necessary. So that means, if you want someone to contact you because you feel like the things that you talked about within your post is convincing or compelling, contact me for an evaluation of whatever, blah, 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 blah. Or if you ever need something, reach out to me on LinkedIn, whatever. And then you want to end to also show visibility of this. You want to make sure that you have 3 to 5 relevant hashtags that you end with at the end of your post. And the most important thing here with the hashtags is you need to make sure that you research ahead of time what is going to be the right hashtags to use, because you may use hashtags that aren't super relevant, or that they don't get a lot of visibility, and then your post is not going to be shown to potential other people who you're not connected with. And another bonus here when you're creating your content is to tag companies and people to extend that reach to try and increase engagement. So here's an example of everything I just spoke about at large of something that I did. So I recently had a post where I wanted to showcase something that I recently did with work that I was doing for a client. And we can go a little bit deeper here to see the actual content. As I state here, I launched a lead generation campaign that brought in over $50,000 in sales with sales potential with $20,000 confirmed sales. So that right there is attention grabbing, because I tell a person it was a lead gen campaign, and I tell them that, what the sales potential was and what the sales were that I brought in. Now, as I go through, I start to kind of slowly concise and reel them in more, because I'm starting to say how I do it, right? How I lay some of the highlights of how I did something. You can see what the, let me see if I can do this here. Laser pointer. So I start to evaluate or tell people here, clear, concisely what I was doing to have this outcome. And then I end here with, if you ever need something, blah, 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 you can, I lead towards, you know, like an inferred statement where you can contact me, but you don't have to contact me. This is something you can do within your organization. And then I end with 3 different hashtags that I thought were relevant to this overall post. Now, what happened with this post is that it got a lot of good engagement, 46 reactions, 8 comments. At the time, I had only had about 900 followers on my profile, but what it did was it was able to extend me further. I got 1,720 impressions, near 2 times more eyeballs than my followers did. Who saw my post? Owners, CEOs, presidents, and marketing managers. So these are within our line of business at Force 5. These are people who definitely are part of the audience in which we try to speak to, because these are decision makers, right, within our within organizations. So in the long term, why is this important? Is because if you can be an advocate as an employee, it can increase your visibility. So the credit is due that I am a representative of Force 5 doing that type of work, which relates to, okay, Force 5 is doing this type of work, so do I need to get in touch with Force 5 if interested in that service? So your company page alone is not going to drive your LinkedIn success. It's going to be your employees. So you need to create a strategy around how your employees can be advocates to bringing visibility to your company. So maybe try to create a strategy with, you know, telling your employees, hey, we need to post about these types of things that we're doing. We need to make sure that when we post them on our company page that we are resharing them and tagging people, because when people react and they comment and they share, that post will become more visible within the LinkedIn feed. That's how the algorithm works. When you're posting as a business, you want to develop a consistent content strategy. So again, you need to know who your audience is, what is most important to your audience, and when are they most likely to engage. Business transparency, sharing company cultures, accolades, all this kind of stuff I already mentioned are good things to share on your business profile. You can try to go straight for the sales, but I'm a firm believer that your employees will help you bring those sales as advocates for your company. And when you're posting as a business, try to make sure that you're reviewing the analytics, and you can review the analytics as well on your own personal profile, because that's going to help you decide when you need to make decisions in terms of posting. And then a sneaky way of also doing things here is, because you had the people who represent your organization represent you, they have their own networks, use them as your advocates to grow your company profile by inviting them to like the page and so forth. So a good example of this is I want to bring up something from YPN, which Amanda and I are a part of. I thought that this post was actually really good. This was an event that we had 2 months ago now. I think it was the opening event for the year, but it got really good engagement. And it was straight and to the point, coming from a company page. But why this post performed well is because the picture showed the experience. So people who were within the room saw that again. People also would see what's going on in that room, which was great things. We had, 83 people reacted to this post, 21 comments, 7 shares. So all of those interactions helped boost this post for greater visibility. I don't know the exact stats behind the reach of this post because I'm not part of the actual profile admin, but I can guarantee you that the reach was very large, regardless if they saw something or not. And what also helped this post was that they tagged 25 people. So because they tagged 25 people that they knew who attended or was in the room, largely the ambassadors that are part of YPN, we were able to help extend this post to get it more visible to our followers by liking and interacting with it. And the other nice thing that they did about this post is that they had 2 sections here where they had a call to action to get people to sign up for other future events, or sign up to stay in touch. And real quick, what I want to touch on here is the opportunity to use LinkedIn ads for your organization. It's highly effective for people within the B2B space, that kind of said, because you can target highly. So you can speak to direct decision makers, companies, industries. There's a whole different dashboard in which you can target, go really nitty gritty in who you're trying to talk to and narrow down your audience. And it can be super effective. You can do a bunch of different ways of advertising, single image ads, video ads, carousel ads, event ads, documents, things you get in your email if you have LinkedIn, you've experienced that before. Just different ways of trying to get your message out there. And you can all track your success by installing a LinkedIn Insights tag on your website to make sure that your ROI is on point with the amount of money you're spending on your ad dollars. Some quick examples here. I was served this ad by Great Lakes Advisory, and why I like this ad is it's actually one of the like document types of ads that you can do. They illustrate right up front how to systemize operations and align your team. If I'm interested in something like this, you can kind of see here, there's a little tab where you can look at some of the first couple pages of this ebook that they're doing. And guess what? If you start to like what you're seeing, then you can click the unlock full document, which will then pull up this little lead gen screen here, which will get sent to your email. It'll give them who you represent, your company and the name, you submit it, and boom, you got the ebook, and there's your lead, right? So you're gonna follow up with this type of a person. Next one was, this is actually a video ad. I took a still from it. Something general that you see on LinkedIn often. It was a video, has a kind of like the banner on the bottom, let your potential take over. And then this really just took you to a landing page. So we can try to drive traffic from LinkedIn, of course, onto a landing page to try and get a person to take an action. I know I kind of rambled on there for a long time here on LinkedIn, but I think this is probably the most impactful avenue for companies as such that are on this presentation today, and trying to grow your presence. I think it's a growing importance within each respective industries, no matter what you do in our profession. So these are kind of the couple quick things that of value that I see that can help you grow. Is there any questions on LinkedIn before I dive into YouTube here?
Yes, we do have a LinkedIn question. John is wondering, which is more important in a business of just one individual? Would it be the business profile or the personal profile?
So they're both important. Okay, so your business profile is a representation of your company. So you want to make sure, of course, that's optimized. You need to have both. If you're some sort of large type of entity, even a small entity, in order to kind of reshare and engage with that content, right? So you can go on LinkedIn and have your personal profile and try to go that route with it. But I also find a disconnect if I don't have a business profile, but you say you're this valid company, you're doing all these things, I might take some sort of discredit to you just because your company is not participating on LinkedIn itself. So you need to have both, but so you need to find the happy balance of creating a content strategy where you are driving that content yourself to try and be an advocate for your company, but then make sure when people come to your business page that they see what you're actually about and what you're doing for reassurance.
We've got another question from Aaron. Are there any specific differences for LinkedIn you would recommend for nonprofits versus the for-profit sector?
I really think that on LinkedIn for nonprofit, you're going to focus a lot about, donations and those types of things. You're a charity. So my recommendation would be to, on your personal profile, share all the good things that your company does, that you're doing. And then on your business profile, make sure to continue to share those same exact things. We want to make sure that we're kind of like creating unique contents in both different areas. But ultimately, what we want to do is we want to have credit due to where it's due with what your nonprofit is doing, and you want to make that visible, because when you have people who are going to be your prospects, right, who you want to get those donations from, you're going to want them to come to that page, see what you're doing, see what the organization is doing at large, so that way they are better informed on why they need to, or why they should be participating in all the great things that that nonprofit is doing.
That looks like all the questions for LinkedIn for right now. So we'll pop back on in just a little bit to get any on YouTube then.
Okay. So YouTube, I love YouTube. YouTube is very interesting. YouTube has been around for a long time. And it's, many people don't realize it's the second largest search engine in the world behind Google, which Google owns YouTube. So you have the big dogs at the very top. And because it's a search engine, there's a lot of different things that go into how and why videos rank on YouTube, which we'll talk about. TV is YouTube's fastest growing screen size. So, you know, you can access YouTube from tablets and mobile devices, whatever, but it's a fact that a lot of smart TVs now, they're already incorporating, or they have YouTube installed on it already, and people are choosing to elect to watch content from YouTube because it's free. There's engaging content. You have content creators. You can rent movies on there. YouTube is very expanded compared to what it used to be. The first stop in the social shopping journey. A lot of people like to go to YouTube to try and find out what a product is going to do for them before they do something, or, you know, maybe I run a construction business, or I'm a drywaller, or I'm in, you know, some sort of service industry. Maybe someone's going to want to go to YouTube to say, well, can I do this for myself before actually contacting a contractor? So we'll kind of talk about that a little bit and how you can capitalize there. 52% of users access YouTube daily. That doesn't surprise me. A lot of people like to go on there, as I mentioned, just to engage in the different types of content that's on there. A third of internet users have watched a tutorial or how-to video this week on YouTube. It wouldn't surprise me if almost everybody within this current webinar has done some sort of how-to video on YouTube at one time or another, or a tutorial to try to figure out what the heck I need to do, or how do I need to advertise on YouTube. And 80% of US parents of children 11 and under say their kids watch YouTube. So this is an interesting statistic for if you're in education. How could you try to create content to try and serve your students and people within your school system? Is it a good resource to be housing videos, to referring people to different links from content that maybe your school corporation could create? Or maybe you do something that's daycare related or whatever. There's different types of strategies we can try to figure out there. We have, of course, the organic and paid side. I focus a lot here on the organic in this presentation. So original content, you know, so we want to create videos, we want to have a strategy behind them. And we want to, when we create these videos, we want to build trust and credibility. So, you know, we want to try, so as a business, we want to try and put content out there that's good, that we're going to try and make ourselves like thought leaders. We're going to try and want to hold credibility to where it's due on why me. Another thing here is we want to improve searchability. So we talk a lot about in marketing SEO, which means search engine optimization, because YouTube is a search engine, which that means that the content within the platform is searchable. So when you go to Google, there you often see videos in the snippet where it has 3 different video types. They are pulling those videos from YouTube because they own YouTube, and they're trying to find relevant searches for people. So if you have content that's on YouTube, and depending on what people search for in that locale, your video may pop up there on the SERP. And then, of course, you know, posting videos to YouTube everybody wants to drive sales and web traffic or grow awareness of a product that you're selling or a service. These are all things that you can take advantage of on the platform. And then you can supplement that with the paid side, right? So when you're not reaching some of the people with the content that you're posting about, or you want to reach those new audiences, we can reach specific audiences by targeting parameters on the platform. There's multiple different type of ad strategies, which I'll dive into it toward the tail end of the YouTube portion here. Great thing to do with paid ads is, to grow that brand awareness and consideration. And as we mentioned in the last slide about how people are moving from their mobile devices, or they're on their mobile devices and still using them, but the TV side is growing. We can reach those highly attentive audiences who are watching and consuming the content on their televisions. So developing your YouTube presence really starts with, optimizing your profile. I did a quick image here of the Studebaker National Museum. They are one of our clients, yet we don't do anything with them on this side of things. They do a great job of structuring their profile here, of having different playlists. When you log on to their profile, they immediately have an opening video. Their user name is doesn't have numbers after it. They've actually gone in there and tried to make an actual username for themselves. So this profile is completely optimized, it's organized, and it's very presentable and welcoming. So that's like the first step that you need to do if you want to start to create and post content on YouTube. You need to decide who is going to be your target audience. So this is when you're starting to create those videos and the strategy. You can't just put videos out there. This goes back to the same thing as I started this very beginning of the presentation. Who are you trying to talk to? Because that is where you're going to end up figuring out what type of content that you want to start to create. You want to research like crazy. So what are other people within my field doing that maybe I can gather inspiration from and do myself to try and reach audiences? Or maybe it's something that this person's doing something really well. Maybe I don't find opportunity there, so I don't want to do that. Within your team, you can develop a content strategy for execution. So as I kind of was saying, once you know the who behind what you're trying to, who you're trying to talk to, what you're trying to achieve, then that's when that content strategy kind of comes into play. And when you do this, you want to make sure that you're doing this in a way with creating quality content. We don't want to go out there and start doing video on a mobile device that doesn't produce high quality videography. There are cases these days where, iPhone 14s, 13s, whatever, produce unbelievable video, which so you do have that liberty of taking that cell phone and going out and shooting some video. Same thing with maybe some Samsung Galaxies or Google Pixels. They will get the job done. You can do that. But if you really want professional content, of course, that you want to maybe level up to maybe an entry-level camera or something to where you can start to get that quality videography in here. And then we want to make sure when we're doing this content that we're measuring effectiveness, because we don't want to keep posting content and it's not getting views. Why is it not getting views? What do we need to optimize? What do we need to do? Do we need to share these? Are we sharing these videos on our other socials so we get more views? Is the videos that you're putting out there optimized to be searchable, which is what we're going to start to talk about here. So search engine portion of YouTube starts with when you're uploading the video and you're starting to build out the content behind it, right? So you want to make sure that you have a clear video title and description. So I took an example of a search here. How does gel stain work? This is something that I actually searched for a couple months ago when I was working on a project at my own home. So I was researching, what is it? How do you use it? I've never done wood staining before. And these videos popped up in the feed. So why these are nice is because they have a clear title exactly related to what I was searching for. First one is what you need to know about gel stain. Everything you need to know about gel stain. how to apply gel stain and gel top coat to raw wood. These are all kind of relevant things in which will answer that question that I'm originally searching for, which Google is trying to give you that content that you are searching for that relevant search. So it starts with your video title to be searchable and that exact content that you want it to display, and then a descriptor underneath it. We want to make sure that we're including keywords in the video file. Of all things, it sounds weird, but Google's going to take that video file when you upload it. So when you take that video file off of your camera, you upload it, that video's now it's all cut and the way you want it. Make sure you name that video file with a keyword that is going to be relevant and applicable to what your the video is about. You want to tag with related keywords. So when you're creating that video or posting that video, there's going to be a portion where you're going to be able to add tags. So you want to make sure that you're adding relevant tags to not only what the video is about, but maybe things that go around it, right? So maybe you want to do like woodworker, or in this case, woodworker, construction, home remodel, trim staining. Those different types of keywords are kind of help bring a sense of what this video is about and who it might be relevant to. We want to have an attention-grabbing thumbnail when we go to post our videos. So these videos right here do a great job of having a banner go across the front of it. GF is on there. That's the company logo. And then it has, what the video is about up front. And then when you start to do this, as I kind of was mentioning with the Studebaker profile, you want to start to build topical playlists to have your content organized. And then within the video, you can highlight key moments from the video for people to jump to. And then you provide links within the description. So that kind of helps with SEO at large, with pointing links to different websites and all that, which is called backlinking. And in this case, it helps give people instant resources. That way they can go and try and find these applicable things themselves. So here's one video. If I could play this. Maybe not. So if I can. Maybe I can't, but there it goes. So in this portion here, what's nice is it's all laid out. You have the video transcript. They actually take the excerpt from the video and put it into the content, so that way it's searchable, because the lady talks a lot about how to do this, and those are searchable things. As you can see, they kind of have key moments here of what, as I mentioned, where this content's located. They also had in there the links. So that way people, when they're doing this, that they can go direct to those links. It's all encompassing, right? So it's all it's all to do this so that way that the user has the best experience possible that they can while consuming this content. That's what it's all about. So the 3 E's of YouTube to try and get you started on how you can start to develop a strategy is going to be to engage, right? So you want to figure out the understanding of what engage means first. So engage means to cause someone to become interested or involved in an activity, or to attract someone's interest. So on YouTube, we want users to be interested in our purpose, our activities. So general content you can create that's under the engage portion of this is, taking the local chamber, for example. So we recently had that major event, that the open house at Four Winds, had a record-setting attendance. That was fantastic. What if we had a video that was basically like a recap video that helped highlight the participation of the chamber, all the people's interactions and the networking and the space at large. It's showcasing the great things that are happening here in South Bend. It's showcasing the new investment that's Four Winds is invested within our community. The amenities that place is offering. On the chamber side, it's highlighting all the great organizations and the interactions and the engagement that all of our chamber members do and have with us. So why it's relevant for the chamber to be posting is because that's what the core mission of the chamber is. So that way, when people maybe want to join the chamber, this is a resource for them to showcase other people. And then when you want to go to the educate part here, Educate means to train or develop knowledge, skill, mind, or character of. So on YouTube, we want users to leave with something of value after viewing a video. So these are like your how-to videos, right? So what if I was a telecommunications company informing viewers of why dark fiber is a great solution to connect communities with? So when someone makes a search for something, trying to find about what dark fiber means or dark fiber within a local community, whatever it might be, the video has a chance to populate and pop up. And because you posted it, you're going to be the brand that's going to be driving that information, showcasing your credibility. And the entertain side of this. So entertain means to hold the attention of pleasantly or agreeably, divert, amuse. So on YouTube, we want users to find commonality with their interest and to be memorable. So what if you're a construction company who decides to create a short behind the scenes series about a few upcoming commercial builds? This, to me, it sounds out of the box and interesting because people may be searching for construction companies or different types of things that go into a build within a construction company on YouTube. Well, what if you were someone who was trying to do something like, put a different spin on things that you see in HGTV and make it applicable to you, right? So now you're developing a content series where people who you already maybe follow you are getting a more in-depth look on what you actually do. And showcase, your employees, your work, all the great things that your company is doing in order to create the ending product of the builds that you're doing within the community you represent. Shorts. So a new thing that people don't realize that's on YouTube is the thing called Shorts. It's a dark horse content builder compared to Reels and TikTok. You can take your Reels and TikTok content if you already are doing so, or if you have it, and post it to YouTube. The thing that's interesting about Shorts is it's the same type of content that's short, it's vertically shot, but it has a high view rate and it reaches a lot of new people. You can use Shorts to try and highlight, behind the scenes, company events, product launches, workshop updates, whatever it might be, but the video doesn't have to be as polished as things that you might already be doing from your other things, the videos that you're posting at large on your profile. These can easily be shot on a mobile device and in the moment, then later produced more professionally later on. This video I have here is something I saw from Fighting Irish on YouTube, and all it was a quick little promo of on 9/23/23, they're going to be playing Ohio State. Boom, done. And then, you can repurpose content from other social media that you have. The best sweet spot to be creating these videos is you can do up to 60, but the best thing is going to be doing around 15 to keep the engagement. And then make sure that you have a hook. And then before wrapping up here with YouTube, we want to make sure that if you choose to do paid advertising, the best reasons why to do a YouTube advertising is to connect with an audience that you're trying to reach. Maybe you're not reaching them organically right now, but you can on the paid side. You have the ability to measure, right? So we can measure what our effectiveness is of issuing these ads online. And the nice thing about it is you can control budget and pacing as you choose. And they can be created with Google Ads. So if you're already doing search campaigns, what have you, online in Google Ads, if you have an account, you can create video ads right from your dashboard in Google Ads. The nice thing about YouTube advertising is you can do bumper ads, 15 or 30-second ads. Bumper ads are very nice because they're quick and to the point. It's to get brand awareness out there. 15 seconds, you can choose them to be skippable or non-skippable. I lean to do the non-skippable because you want people to consume your content and not skip it. So we can get them when they're most attentive, right? And serve them those ads at the right time. And then the 30-second ads is maybe that more long form commercial where it has more information that you want people to consume. You can try to get that out there. However, when you have 30-second ads out there, they are skippable. So they may not end up engaging with that full form content that you want them to engage with. And you may have experienced before that there are other avenues in which you can run time lengths of YouTube ads for. I don't really recommend them, but they're available to you if you choose to do so. The other form of advertising besides video is mastheads, response display, and in-feed ads. So you can do, when you first log on to YouTube, sometimes there's a big banner that has, you know, a topic at large. Responsive display is something that might search, they'll appear on the right-hand side within the related videos. And then in-feed, when you're in that search feed looking at video content, that'll appear at the top. And then at large, how you get all this on there is you can do your targeting parameters with, you know, interests and demographics, topics, keywords. You can go as narrow as targeting a specific video if you want to advertise on YouTube. Is there any questions on YouTube?
Just one, actually. It would be, you mentioned about how the sweet spot for the shorts is 15 seconds. For your standard videos, is there a sweet spot that you should aim for? Or let's say you have a lot of content and it's going to be a longer video. Should that be broken up at all? Or is that kind of more of a free for all?
You could, so it could be a two-pronged approach, right? So you can have a long form video if you want it to be that way, but if you have a long form video, you need to take in consideration, is that person going to really watch that entire video? There's got to be a reason for why that video is more long form. It's going to keep that person engaged. Otherwise, it sounds to me like if you have a more long form video, maybe there's content within that long form video you can chop into maybe 3 other videos. That way you can make it more concise and to the point to get something across versus multiple touch points within one video.
And that's it for YouTube then, no questions.
Okay. And I'll try to be fast here with Instagram. I know we're running out of time. But Instagram for business, you know, as many of us know, YouTube or Instagram kind of skews a little bit more on the younger side. It is more of a millennial and Gen Z driven platform. However, it has been growing with more of a older audience joining the platform as well and trying to explore new spaces. But it is the #1 social media platform for people to connect with brands. I personally think that Instagram is super effective when it comes to more product-based businesses, e-commerce, maybe some service. A lot of B2B can be hard on Instagram, just based upon there's other avenues in which you can try to be maybe more efficient with your marketing in the B2B space. But don't discredit it. I think it's definitely still a growing platform that is continues to be on the rise. Now, you know, just like every other platform, when you're on Instagram, you need to take in consideration, you know, who your audience is, what your goals are going to be. But one differentiator with Instagram is you need to have consistent voice and tone. So that way, everything you're kind of doing makes sense and people can understand that, especially when they go to your profile and they can see a nice, clean profile that really speaks to what types of content that you post. So that's all about branding. You need to make sure that you're planning, right? So everywhere from the posts that you're doing to maybe stories that you want to post, there should be some sort of a system behind that in order to be effective and keep engaging with your followers. And as you're doing this, you want to keep measuring your insights. And you go, because your profile will be a creator profile, business profile, you can go within the platform to look at your audience of who, like age groups, the times that they're interacting with your content, all this different type of information is available to you within your profile to better justify when to optimize and post your content later. One really cool thing that I found is I actually follow Rivian on Instagram, and one really nice thing that they did recently was they took advantage of stories, and they, as he saw there, they're trying to interact with people within their story to make sure that they're understanding what's going on with the company at large. And in here they have just, you know, a quick headline, they have nice imagery or a quick video, and they have a link to each story so that way the person can choose to go off platform to read that blog, to read that, you know, that maybe that stock report, whatever it might be, that new business acquisition. They're trying to keep people informed that as the company grows, that their follower base is confident behind the product and everything that they're doing. So stories are, of course, pieces of content that only live for 24 hours, but you can do different things with them. So you can put links on there like Rivian did here. You can do polls, you can do countdowns. So maybe you have a product launch, so you can put a countdown on there. Maybe you want to gather what people think about something, so you can create a poll and it'll live on your story for 24 hours. It's a great way to make announcements, highlight the latest posts, teasers. Really great way of sharing user-generated content to really have that interaction with people in general and make them feel valued by, hey, you know what, I saw my content on this page, or they mentioned me, or whatever it might be. It can be highly effective. Figuring out what to publishing frequency, monitor engagement, right? So when you post stories, you can monitor who's actually viewing them, how many views they got, if they actually did do some of the clicks, and there's a bunch of different things that you can do with that. So it's always going back to the analytics to see what's effective. And then it's a highly effective way to partner with influencers. So if you're in the space where you want to partner with influencers, you can. Stories is a very popular way to partner with influencers and share products, because you can put those links on there, have people do like a call to action really quickly with promo codes, whatever it might be that the influencer is trying to help you with in order to promote your product or service. Similar to YouTube Shorts and TikTok, as I kind of already mentioned, you have Reels. So Reels, again, the sweet spot is 15 seconds. Want to make sure that you include the audio and you have tags. Make sure you include location tags. The location tag is very important, specific because we are more of a local, hyper-local community here with maybe some of the smaller organizations. So you want to make sure that content can be found. And similar with the hashtags, right? Including some of those relevant hashtags that might be relevant to people within our local community and topically. On-screen text can be a plus depending on what the reel is. That way people have an understanding of what that content you're consuming is about. Don't always focus on trying to get the next biggest video to go viral and take off and whatever, like how people like to do. Make sure you're still focusing on your mission in terms of, you're trying to grow community, you're trying to add value, right? And grow with that. The one thing that we have here is Round Barn out of Baroda, Michigan. What they did was this was during Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones was just releasing a new series. So what they did was they just took advantage of it. They put Game of Thrones theme music on here, and they orchestrated it to be similar and relevant to Game of Thrones by a product placement of their wine. And the last post example here is a standard post. This is what Instagram was originally created for. So lots of what's been happening recently is brands will partner with other influencers to try and bring up that social content, and you can do this. And when you make sure that you're doing posts, you want to make sure that it's clean, crisp imagery, it's professionally shot if you can, or at least it's edited. Use location tags, hashtags, it's all relevant. Make sure you engage. So you want to make sure that if people comment on your post, that you're engaging back with them, and or just on the platform in general. Maybe you find similar content and you can make that comment, and people will see that you made that comment. They'll go check your profile out. Maybe you'll get a follow. But remember that when you're doing posts like this, consistency behind branding and strategy is important. So for you, and how you can capitalize right now with Instagram, is making sure you're staying up to date with the algorithm, right? So Instagram right now is putting focus on carousel posts, on co-posts, as you saw in the last slide here. That was called a co-post. They're trying to push that type of content up because people believe they'll be more engaged with. They're also focusing on content that is timely and relevant, so you're able to go and speak to things that are in the now, which is why that Game of Thrones was effective, because it spoke to something that was kind of happening in that time period. And then to grow reach, try to use featured audio. So featured audio is a part when you post a reel, you have options to add audio. It'll be something that's at the top. Where featured audio is just something where it's like popular music that's going on right now that you can play to video. That's kind of can help extend your reach. And as I mentioned, just make sure that you're trying to do searches or find resources on where you can stay up to date on the algorithm, because it's always changing. And this is applicable for not just Instagram, but like on LinkedIn and Facebook. So that way that you're not continually to post something that's maybe not relevant anymore, or just your views are going down, or you're getting less engagement. Why is that? Well, maybe the algorithm changed. So because the algorithm changed, you need to be nimble and willing to change what you are doing. So real quick, you can do page strategies on Instagram through Facebook Ad Manager. Most of you probably already have a Facebook business page. Well, if you have that's your first step, but you also need to have an Instagram account. You need to be able to have an Instagram account in order to run ads on Instagram. So some of the content types that you can do on Instagram, you do carousels, you can do slideshow ads. These are kind of effective for e-commerce because you can maybe have a series of different imagery for different products that you're selling, or maybe even services. Maybe you do gutter cleanings, or you do window washing, or whatever it might be, and people can slide to see the different stuff that you offer, and then they can click on the ad and then go to find out more information or sign up for something. Instagram video is great for reels and stories. Stories, I talked about in the last couple of slides. I'm a firm believer that stories is a highly effective engagement type on Instagram, because lots of people go to stories to get their instant content they want to engage with friends, pages alike, or content creators daily. So if you can insert yourself into those conversations as they're tapping through the stories, then you're going to be right there where they are, and not have to have someone scroll through a feed to try and find you and hope that you serve them an ad. Photo ads are still relevant. I don't think that they're as effective. Influencer marketing is huge on Instagram, and if you are the type of business that can do it, I think it's worth investigating, because 62% of people trust influencers more than they trust brands, and that's a pretty big statistic. So if you can partner with someone who can get behind your product or your service, and that'll help you in the long run. Meta, I want to mention this. Meta came out recently with a paid verification plan for users to subscribe to between Facebook and Instagram profiles. Meta Verify is what it's called, and it's supposed to provide credibility, account protection, dedicated communication to an actual human, and have exclusive features and increase your visibility and reach within search, comments, and recommendations. So it's kind of, I don't have enough data right now to back up the validity behind this paid service. It's something that just recently came up within the last couple of weeks. And it's $14.99 a month for Instagram and Facebook on mobile, and then $11.99 on Facebook web. I really think it is a bunch of Zuckerberg BS, because I think that because of Meta's recent challenges with shareholders and revenue, that this is just another way that they're going to mimic a paid service to try and get more money out of us as users and participants. This is in the footsteps of Twitter actually launching something similar to this with Elon Musk a couple months ago. So it's something to keep in mind. If you see a drop, maybe you want to get verified anyways, because you want to have that blue check mark next to your profile to show that you are an authoritative profile. No one else owns you, or there's no other scammers out there trying to represent you. So there are some pros to it, but in terms of the actual why you actually want to do it and the benefits you get out of it, that I don't know enough yet to provide a recommendation. But overall, the key takeaways to this seminar is really making sure, that whatever you're doing, you want to go into knowing, who, what, and why, because each platform may not be relevant to you that we discussed today, and that's any social platform. But it's important to really understand, having a plan of action when you go into these different spaces before you do so that way you can create an efficient strategy moving forward. And then I included here some marketing resources that you can keep in touch with. So that way, you can stay in touch with, what's happening on social. or marketing stuff in general, I subscribe to Sprout Social and Hootsuite, which are both social media management platforms. And they do a great job at different times of hosting their own webinars. They push out different types of blogs and emails highlighting new things, like maybe there's algorithm updates or there's new features that Instagram is launching, Facebook, whatever. And then the Marketing Brew is a general email about, things that are happening in marketing at large. And those are emailed every day. And then Think with Google is everything about Google, from Google Ads to search engine stuff, YouTube, you name it. And that's it.
Well, thank you very much, Jim. We do have a couple questions on Instagram. It is a hot topic. The first one before we wrap up would be, how much focus should be placed on actual description text in a traditional photo or video post?
Oh, I think it's relevant because still at the end of the day, some of the stuff that you post about is searchability. But the thing is when you're making descriptions, you want to make sure that they are, they're going to be relevant. You don't want to go on about it. When you do long paragraphs on Instagram, I think that's when maybe you like to say your kind of like engagement really drops unless it's something really special or compelling. Lots of times you're going to look to other resources for stuff like that. I would try to keep it a little, concise, not as super long, but it's still relevant to be posting text about that types of things. But make sure that, when you're doing that stuff, that it's presentable and it's, you're adding the hashtags and or you're tagging people, so that way it can be found.
The next one was, can you review co-posts? Is that the same as tagging?
Yeah, so you'll be able to have, analytics to be able to still show, if that's what you're asking, you'll still be able to have analytics behind how the performance performed, because the co-posts are actually, they're co-posts, right? So what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to get an increased reach based upon reaching your audience and then reaching the person's audience that's actually you're co-posting with. But yeah, you'll still own and have those analytics behind you.
Then the last question we have is, if stories are the most effective, how do we gain the followers necessary to view those Instagram stories?
Oh, great question. So I think what you have to do is you have to figure out a strategy behind first you need to know, like again, what are you trying to accomplish on the platform? Everyone's out to get followers on each of their profiles. So what is your strategy in trying to grow your profile to get people to see your stories, right? Because, people can go to your profile and look at stories, but that doesn't mean that you're going to get followers because you're posting stories. Stories are really only shown to people who are following your profile. Now, so with that being said, you need to develop a strategy of how are we going to grow our Instagram followers. Probably right now would maybe be, if you're starting out, figure out a small paid strategy with a small budget and try to figure out how you can get more people to follow you, or use your other resources where maybe you have a greater following and try to push people to go to Instagram to say, hey, follow us on Instagram. This is what we're doing differently. These are the things we're posting about, to try and drive that traffic.
Okay. And that was the last question. So thank you so much, Jim, for joining us today, and to Discover Force 5 for doing this. Thank you all for joining us as well, and to Sim Financial for sponsoring this. If you have any other questions, you can reach out to Jim. He's got his info there. It's jim@discoverforce5.com. If you have any membership questions, feel free to reach out to Mark McGill at the Chamber. But other than that, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you, Jim, again. And we hope to see you at our next event then. You guys take care and have a great rest of your day then.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Hope this was helpful.